Hi guys, you have been asking for over a year now how I crop my skinnies, and it's taken me so shamefully long because it's not that's not the right question. How I crop my skinnies is I get a pair of scissors and I hack them off. The trouble is trying to figure out where to crop your skinnies. Do you want them like at your ankle bone, above, how far above? Figuring out this situation has been really, really tricky. So you guys probably remember the days of bootcut jeans where we would have to like choose a shoe and then you'd hem your boot cut to that particular shoe and that is all you got. If you wanted to wear a pair of bootcut jeans with like sneaks, then you'd have to hem them for that sneaker, and it was like a whole disaster. So we don't want to get into that game with skinnies. The advantage to skinny jeans is that they can go with lots of different shoes, and that's why we love them. That's one of the many reasons we love them. So, complicating matters over the last year, if we're going to get serious here, complicating matters is the fact that boot trends have started to change somewhat dramatically. So we went from like ankle boots, where they were nice and low on your ankle, to, I guess we're calling this, what is this? Is this the shaft? I guess we're calling this the shaft. The shaft of the boot is, it's going up. And so now we're in a situation in 2017 where boot shafts are on the rise. So we've gone from like the low ankle boots to sort of the mid. Here, let me pull these up too. So we're looking at all these guys. And so trying to figure out how to crop your skinnies so they work with all of these boot shaft heights has been really tricky. And I'm not in love with how skinny jeans look when they're tucked into boots. Like, I don't think that's a very modern look. So, we have to solve this, and we also have to then figure out, once we've solved this problem, will these skinnies still work for pumps and sneakers and flats and sandals and all that kind of stuff. So that's been the issue. So for the last year, I have been doing nothing but messing around with crop lengths on skinny jeans. I've wrecked more than my fair share of jeans, but I feel like I have a solution. So you're gonna have to bear with me because it's also gonna depend a little bit on what you have in your closet. But yeah, here's a strategy that I can personally recommend after over a year of trial and error. All right, so I think you should start with your most medium rise boot. So we have the super low ankle boots, we have the newer like high shaft booties or whatever. So find one that's sort of medium. You want something that comes over top of your ankle bone, and you want to, your first cut, you can always start conservatively, and I think a fair place to start is like an inch above your ankle bone. But try hacking your jeans off right above there. So if you put on your most medium shaft boot, it should be able to just like graze the very top of the boot. And if you look down, you can see like a little sliver of skin. Like that to me is like the perfect situation for accommodating all of these other shoe types. So if you can manage to graze the very tippy top of your medium-sized boot, then what you have for the rest of them, at least the flats and the heels, is simple. Watch. So here's the tricky part. How do these work when the skinny jeans aren't quite cropped enough? So, all right, so here's the thing with sock boots, which is really the style of boot we're talking about here. They are narrow enough that I don't hate it. Like if you want to just leave your jeans sort of hanging sort of half over the top, like this is fine. Unless, you know, you're the picky type, which is okay too. In that case, here's what I recommend. You just kind of flip it up a little bit. And this teeny little cuff actually works whether it's like a 1/4 inch, a 1/2 inch, or even a full inch. It still looks okay, which you'll see in the other boot. Okay, so for these, you just want to inch them up a little bit more. And you can see that on mine, I've sort of like played with fraying the hem a little bit so they split. That is a helpful, you can just like pull at those threads to sort of like widen that gap a little bit, and that is helpful if your skinny jeans are like super tight and you need a little bit more give when you roll. And but do, like a word of caution, they do loosen up over time. So if you start that process, it sometimes gets away from itself. So, all right, let's crop some jeans. Alright, moment of truth, right? I think I did an okay job. One leg still looks a little longer than the other, but like I said before, these are not the things that I sweat. So, and if you're nervous about how quickly I just hacked at this stuff, this is just the first cut. This is just the starting point, because sometimes you just gotta make that first cut. So, it's fine. We're gonna call this good enough with sneaks. It'll be good enough with all of our flats and heels. Great. Now we move on to the boots. So let's see how this first initial cut holds up with our higher shaft boots. All right, so I didn't do too badly. I actually think this could be considered good enough. I kind of want to take it up like a hair, but this is a point of comparison, right? So yeah, you could call this good enough, or you could take off like maybe another centimeter or two, but I don't think you need to take off more than that. So let's call it good just for the sake of argument here. And now let's try it on with the other higher rise boots. It's working, right? One more. And we're gonna shimmy. Ta-da! I think it works.